I know a guy that once upon a time said that he was in Sacramento and he went on Twitter and talked about how he absolutely couldn't stand it here. There's nothing to do. It's so boring. It's so terrible. And then now he says things like, I can't get enough of Sacramento Kings fans. Kings twice in one season, too good to be true. See you tomorrow, 916. If only Gilbert Arenas had the experience Harry Giles had.
Yes, exactly.
That would have meant a lot. And there's somebody we're bringing on right now, and I still get butterflies and tingles when I get to talk to this guy. Somebody, you want to talk about a love affair with Sacramento and a love affair Sacramento has vice versa. Mm-hmm. The one, the only, the voice of your Sacramento Kings, the great Gary Gerould. Good morning, G-Man.
Good morning. Hello, Gilbert Arenas. How's things in SoCal?
G-Man, we played the clip. You know, we probably shouldn't give him that publicity, but I'm immature. So we played the clip, and, you know, there's nothing like when Sacramentans rally around the city and each other. And the point Jason and I were making before he came on was, it's one of those things, if you know, G-Man. If you've been here, if you've experienced it, whether you're a broadcaster, whether you're a player, you know how special the city is. And I feel bad for Gilbert almost that he never had that experience.
Well, yeah, and I think you guys did a great job of pointing out, you know, various members of the Kings over the years who have made this their home and who ended up having a genuine love affair with Sacramento and the Kings fans in this whole area. So when I saw that yesterday, I just thought, how disgusting is this?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you're tempted to want to respond to it. And I thought, no, there's nothing to be gained by doing that. But by the same token, it's just, how wrong can a guy be? And it's painful that someone has a forum and that draws that kind of attention, and just, you know, idiocy. That's all.
Well, and now, G-Man, you've got two very recent examples of players choosing Sacramento. Granted, Malik Monk's getting paid well, and DeMar DeRozan's going to get paid well, and they're very good players. But they probably had some significant other choices, and they've been around the league a little bit. I think it's, one, it's great for us, great for the Kings, great for the city, but it's telling that those two guys have chosen Sacramento.
Well, absolutely. And it says a lot about, you know, the progress that the organization is making. Yeah, we've been hopeful at different times over the years, and if it be draft picks or if it be potential trades or whatever, and you say, well, this might help the Kings turn a corner. But the old cliche about changing the culture, it's actually been changed. And I just welcome it. I chuckled yesterday seeing the video of De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan when Vivek made an announcement to Fox, and Fox's wife Rasay was there, and you know, she doesn't mince words when she gets on social media and talks about this organization and the progress that it's made, and how idiotic some of the responses are. So it's just it's gratifying to see it happen. It's a tribute to Vivek and the organization, and it's also a tribute to Mike Brown in particular and his coaching staff, I think, along with Monty McNair, Wes Wilcox, the people in the front office, who have found ways to turn a corner and to make it so that a Malik Monk or a DeMar DeRozan wants to wear a Kings uniform.
Gary Gerould, the voice of the Sacramento Kings, joining us. And it's always, you know, we're deep locked in homers, as you know, but then we talk to somebody like you, and it's like, well, you've seen and called pretty much every minute of this franchise. And you go through the history, whether it's the Reggie Theus initial team, and then you graduate to the Mitch years in Seattle and the Standing O. Then, of course, the golden years of the 2000s with Doug and Peja and Chris. Then maybe the Artest Bonzi years, I guess. I'm just talking about successful chapters. And now you're here. And I got to ask you, G-Man, the Kings have been above 500 for a couple years now, so it's not brand new. But when you see a move like DeMar DeRozan and this culture and all the stuff we're talking about, does it give you some of those similar feelings maybe you had back in 99 or prior?
Well, yes, in a way. The difference being that in 99, I don't think any of us had any inkling that it was going to turn into the run that it did under the 8 years with Rick Adelman.
Yeah.
So there are similarities in a sense because a couple of very positive steps have been taken. Uh, we again fall back on the fact that the Western Conference is so doggone tough, and everybody gets better. And just because you've re-signed Malik and you've added DeMar DeRozan to the mix, there's no guarantees that this is going to be, the magic potion for the Sacramento Kings. But certainly, it's significant, and you can't dismiss that in any sense. So I'm like everyone else. I'm excited. I want to see how the fit works. I want to see how, Mike Brown and his staff decide they're going to, approach things, and how much of an impact is going to make on the offensive end, and what's going to happen on the defensive end, and for that matter, are we done yet? I mean, this roster can still take on some new wrinkles or new phases, even though you're pushing some financial restraints. But I'm not convinced that Monty's done at this point.
I know that's the exciting part. There's still some room here, and when you bring in players, G-Man, it does mean that others have to go. 5.5 years here for Harrison Barnes. You get to talk to him a lot, call his games, get to know him. I don't know of many other greater professionals or human beings that this organization has had. Just would love to hear your thoughts on kind of what Barnes meant coming in and now on his way out.
Well, you look back over 39 years of this organization in Sacramento, and you'd be hard pressed to find a better, pure professional, and a guy who not only was just exuded class, but brought some versatility and various weapons to the basketball floor. But the thing that always impressed me was not only his gentlemanly demeanor, but a work ethic that was just astounding, and also what he did behind the scenes so many times without any recognition whatsoever within the community. And you talk about a love for a region, and I'm going to miss Harrison Barnes, in a lot of respects. Just we've missed other Kings over the years that have gone on to different venues or different organizations, but he was special. There's no question about it, and I just there'll be a void in the sense that locker room presence and the presence on the buses, and a lot of people sometimes didn't see the frisky side of Harrison Barnes, and he too.
Gary Gerould joining us. He will be on the call, of course, tonight. Look, it's not just preseason summer league for the players. The broadcasters too got to stretch a little bit and get the vocal cords going. He'll be on the call tonight, 7 p.m. versus Charlotte at the California Classic. Also, want to remind everybody, by the way, ahead of tonight's U.S. Open Cup, Todd Donovan, the GM of the Republic, will join us in about 30 minutes. Also, 9 a.m. G-Man, you work in basketball a lot. You have a lot of contacts. At 9 a.m. we have, is it Bob Gerald on with hoopobsession.com? Bob Gerald, maybe that's his name. Are you familiar with him at all?
I do have. I've had some experiences, some relationships with that particular individual. Yes.
Good basketball mind. Is he going to give us something, you think?
Yeah, I wish I had his and the depth of knowledge and players and X's and O's and one thing or another. Where that comes from, it didn't come from me. I know that.
Well, and how much fun, like this has kind of been a tradition now for the California Classic, you and Bob working together. We know he watches more basketball than I think any human being out there, but he knows these guys at the Classic. He loves going to Vegas and Summer League and watching all these teams and all these guys. But just for you personally, I mean, to work with him in another time tonight, how much fun do you have with him?
Well, it's really special, and it's something I will never ever take for granted. And I wish that there had been more opportunities over the years to be able to do that. But it is extraordinarily special, and I take a great deal of pride in that. And as it turns out, because we didn't do the first couple of games in Sacramento, this will be a one-shot experience, a one-off tonight. But I'm looking forward to it. And we were chuckling yesterday. He called me when he saw on social media, I think it was maybe Sean Cunningham was one of the first to break down the fact that there were various members of the Kings that had been playing in San Francisco that are going to be coming to Sacramento to play tonight. And so all the work we've done in preparation, the Sacramento version of the California Classic had to dig in deep last night, get the charts out, rework some things, add new names, get new bio information, et cetera, et cetera. But the bottom line is, as you know, this broadcast is not the typical NBA hardcore broadcast. This is a chance to, chat a little bit and try to learn a little more about some of these new faces and their opportunities. And one of the great things, and we'll probably address it at some point tonight, but a couple of days ago, on the eve of the start of the California Classic in Sacramento, the broadcast talent was invited to come in and attend the entire practice under Doug Christie. And being invited to come down and stand and listen as Christie addressed the players and talked about how important these moments are and what the pride should be in wearing Kings and Sacramento on your jersey, on your chest, on your back, and talking about the significance of how every player there wants to kick your behind. And you've got to rise to that challenge. And what a great opportunity it is. And it wasn't that it was revealing, it was just that the pure urgency from Coach Doug Christie was something that you don't get a chance to see things like that very often. And it was special. And I shot a text to Doug yesterday when I knew they were splitting things up. So are you coaching tonight in Sacramento? Oh yeah, he will be sidelines and coaching tonight. And I don't know about tomorrow in San Francisco as they'll play the Warriors at Chase Center.
Yeah, G-Man, I know the other night you were sharing that story when I saw you at the Classic, and I thought that, we've all got a love affair for Doug. He's just an amazing person. I think his coaching future is so bright. But what took me to was you said, like, it was from the jump. Like, there was really no warm-up. Doug didn't, tiptoe in. It was just like, bam. He was like, hey, this should be critical for all of you. This is what we're going to do. This is our job. This is our goal. This is what it takes to be a presence in this league. And you said, like, Doug just came out swinging, huh?
Yeah, he did. And that's Doug. He'll coach you hard. He'll come at you, and he also was quick to point out. He says it's not personal. It's just we want to strive as a unit to have success. And here are our principles as far as, and he had 5 items listed as far as on the offensive end and on the defensive end. And this is what you've got to live by, and this is what you have to perform to, and this is what we expect of you. And we expect it every possession. And I enjoy watching him on the sidelines. It's hard, it's one of the nice things, I guess, in the last couple of games, not being a broadcaster, but being able to watch Doug work the sidelines, work with the officials, one thing or another, how he would coach, pull a player out of the game, and have a 45-second conversation on the sideline. You could just see the education process at work. All of that's fascinating.
Voice of the Kings, Gary Gerould. Don't forget, on the call tonight versus Charlotte, California Classic. We'll wrap here. It's the first time this has ever happened, because I've said this before. You know this, Jason, on this show, that there's maybe 2-3 guys in town, including my dad, that if they ever got angry at me, might actually put me in tears.
Yeah.
And Gary's one of them. I couldn't imagine having a crossword with Mr. Gary Gerould, but I have a bone to pick with you, sir. I have a bone to pick. It's the off season. And I'm going back to May 3rd. By the way, happy birthday, belated.
Thank you.
I'm going back to May 3rd. New Star China restaurant in Visalia. That is the only food picture.
Oh, it's been a while.
That I've seen. Now, there was a Sunday.
Okay.
There was a picture of a Sunday. I just assume Leatherby's. I'm sure I'm wrong, but no a caption on it. And through the years, Gary, I live for your food experiences. So I'm wondering if sometime the rest of the off season, maybe there'll be an uptick there. We can get you a sponsor. I don't know.
I chuckle because from time to time people mention it. I have no idea how any of that started. And man, you need to write a book about, another. No way in hell is that going to. But I enjoy places. I enjoy hole in the wall places in particular. I enjoy kind of exploring. I happened to be in Visalia for a few days to visit with some friends of mine in the gospel music world who were involved in concerts in that area. And I stumbled onto this place, and man, it was very tasty, and there was a ton of food. for the price. It was all good.
So Triple G, Gary Gerold's gastronomy show like that, Food Network, that's not happening, you're saying?
It's not going to happen.
Well, we
Keep trying.
We continue to follow your exploits, and of course, always on the broadcast as well. We're so very lucky, as we always say, to have your voice as the narration, good and bad, up and down and sideways, all these years. And I hope you have a great rest of your off season. The three of us are long overdue for abusing some trees out at a golf course at some point with our wayward shot. So we'll have to get there sometime soon.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure, you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Take care. That is the great
Gary
Gerould. I really am into his. I love his food posts.
I love it too. By the way, though, isn't it kind of you and me hitting the tree? G-Man's kind of straight down he hits it right down the middle.
That is very true. Yeah. No, you have a great point. We can go all the way through, actually, Chris, if you want. Stretch